We're going to have tremendous border security that will include the wall. Now, a lot of people don't know it, but we've already started the wall. We got $1.6 billion, and we've started large portions of the wall, but we're going to need, even the way we negotiate, we're going to need more, and we're going to get more, and we may have to do some pretty drastic things, but we're going to get it.
That would be another hint at the government shutdown. That was President Trump rallying supporters on border security tonight in Tampa. We should point out, as we always have to, the president's border wall has not been started, just repairs to an older section near San Diego. The president spoke for over an hour on a number of issues, including the economy, including his contention that Merry Christmas is under siege no more, including trade, immigration, the Supreme Court, voter ID, and shopping for food.
We believe that only American citizens should vote in American elections, which is why the time has come for voter ID, like everything else. Voter ID. You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID and you need your picture. In this country, the only time you don't need it, in many cases, is when you want to vote for a president, when you want to vote for a senator, when you want to vote for a governor or a congressman. It's crazy.
That was the kind of thing tonight. And during the rally, the president also heaped praise on Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis, who is running in Florida's gubernatorial primary. With us to talk about it, David Jolly, former Republican congressman from Florida, represented the Tampa metropolitan region. He attended tonight's rally in Tampa, and now we can say, among other things, he's been to a Trump rally. Also with us, Lisa Lehrer, national politics reporter for the Associated Press. So, Congressman, I am very anxious to hear your takeaway from your first Trump rally, and chiefly what television doesn't convey about a Trump rally.
Yeah, so I think some of the storylines were what we are used to. Perhaps the national story tomorrow is really the chanting and attacks on the free press. And frankly, your colleague Jim Acosta over at CNN, a viral video that's now going around, the real verbal assaults, if you will, to the press. That was absolutely on display. We also saw the energy in the crowd when Donald Trump would address immigration matters and, frankly, anti-immigration rhetoric, if you will. Also, mentions of Hillary Clinton excited the crowd, all those bread and butter issues. Brian, what was most remarkable to me, though, and probably the thing that I will never forget and I am wrestling with tonight, is how homogeneous the crowd was. And we can decide whether or not we want to assign culpability to the president for cultivating a constituency that tonight was 99% Caucasian, working class. Or is that a broader national conversation we need to have? But I'll be honest with you, and I gut checked myself. I asked friends and I asked other folks in the media, look around, how many African Americans, how many black Americans do we see tonight? And you could count them on one finger. And some of them were specifically positioned for camera shots. This was a white working class audience, to Donald Trump's credit, that felt he was speaking for them. Not just to them, but he was speaking to their anger. That's the one thing I wrestle with. Look, the Tampa Bay community is a very diverse community. I represented a very diverse community. I walked into a rally tonight that was probably the most homogeneous environment I've been in decades.
I'm curious, how many people recognized you? Obviously, you're from there, you're Republican, but you've been highly critical of this president.
So I certainly received some criticisms from those who said I needed to be softer on the president. I could also have a conversation tonight, though, about how different media platforms divide the information that we receive, because longtime Republican supporters who have not heard some of my criticisms because of where they receive their news today, they were not aware of my criticisms of the president, and so they treated me as a friend. But certainly there were those who wanted to know why I was there, questioned my intentions. Look, I was there out of respect for those who support Donald Trump. I don't support him. I remain a Republican, and I was there to learn from those in attendance. I leave tonight in as strong disagreement as I arrived, but it was important that I attended.
Well, thank you for that assessment. Lisa, in many ways, it was a standard Trump rally. Just when you thought he was on the edge of being Rooseveltian, he talked about actually taking office and realizing he was president. I made some notes here. He talked about Washington, and he said, I know the great people. I know the scum. So I figured, OK, so not so Rooseveltian there. Did you hear anything new tonight that he may take out on the road?
I mean, it mostly did, as you say, seem like the standard Trump rally. It continues to be striking to me how much the president wants to run on immigration in these midterms. That really is the central piece of his message. And it's one that he believes, rightfully so, resonates with his base. But I suspect what he may not be taking into account is it also resonates very strongly with Democrats. So while driving out his base could help, in the Senate map, which is sort of tilted toward Republicans to begin with, in the House, it gets a little more complicated because a lot of the battleground is in these suburban districts. And by continuing to talk about these divisive issues like immigration, like the potential for a government shutdown, along with the, never-ending series of news about the investigation, about controversial remarks, every one of those headlines is an additional shot of adrenaline into an already energized Democratic grassroots. So what we've seen is protesters have become volunteers, are likely to become voters, and that level of enthusiasm is something that scares a lot of Republicans, particularly when they look at the map in the House.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.